I think it's safe to say that Star Wars Squadrons has a lot of depth. While the campaign is only 6 to 7 hours long and serves more of a tutorial to the complex game mechanics, the meat of the games come from dogfighting game modes and of course, the bread and butter of the game, the fleet battle mode, which comes in a full ranked system to help visualize how good you're getting at the game. However, whilst matchmaking attempts to try and keep pre-made groups of people at the same number on either faction, playing on your own is a completely different experience than playing with just a single friend or a full team. Having full vocal comms with your friends during the game gives you another level of read on the game as a whole. Reaction times are better from every player across the board, and it's easy to quickly execute premeditated attack runs. When you're on your own, you rely on trusting people you've never met before in Squadron's inbuilt voice chat system, or an arbitrary emote ping wheel, making games feel much harder to win and rely more on chance that your teammates can perform well. So in today's video, I want to go over a few builds and strategies you should take into consideration when playing on your own in Star Wars Squadrons. But before I get into it, my question of the day is, do you play Squadrons on your own? For me, I rarely do play it on my own, and at the times that I do, I don't feel as motivated or engaged compared to playing with friends. But let me know your experiences and thoughts in the comments down below. I read all of them and try to get back to some of you too. And also, if you're not sure what HOTAS to buy for Squadrons, or actually thinking of picking up Squadrons for yourself, why not grab it from our Amazon links? It adds absolutely nothing to your price, but really helps the channel out. Like, I'm serious, it actually does. But with that out of the way, let's jump right into the video. So the first thing to note when playing on your own is the impact that you can bring to a team. In a previous video about my favourite support loadouts to play, link to that video in the top right corner if you want to watch that, I mentioned that support offers the greatest amount of impact to a game, even when you're literally starting to learn the class. This can help more well-versed players to survive longer and prevent less morale given to the enemy team. But, and there's a big but with that, support leaves a lot of the objective control to your allies, meaning that you're surrendering a lot of the game-winning requirements to people you don't even know. For some, that means games can feel like a total percentage chance of winning or losing. If they do know what they're doing, you're helping them secure the win. If they don't, you're delaying a loss right there and then. Because of this, you need to evaluate when support isn't going to be enough. In my personal opinion, in the current state of the game at version 1.2, I recommend X-Wing or A-Wing for Rebels, or TIE Interceptor or TIE Bomber for the Empire. The reason for this is that you're able to dogfight and handle flagship damage relatively well in a fighter. X-Wings have better durability when you utilize the shields correctly, and for A-Wing, using the stealth build Eckhartsladder recommends to run, link to that build and video in the top right too, allows you superior control in dogfighting and easy flagship damage too. For Empire, the reason I mentioned TIE Bomber instead of TIE Fighter is simply because of its absurd durability and damage with the rotary cannon for its primary and a dampener hull that absorbs damage from the front of the vessel when dealing tons of capital ship damage. You simply glide to the objective and go mad. All these ships are able to put you in control of your game, and if you pull off the damage, you're the one that's directly getting yourself a win, whilst when you're support, you're aiding other players and hoping for the best. But of course, this approach comes with risks. You're at the bottom line this time, and your deaths will impede the team greatly, so be sure that you have the skill for it. When Eckhartsladder plays Interceptor, his stealth build allows him to do fantastic damage to the enemy as well as outmaneuver them. When it comes to flagship damage, he can counter the flagship's firepower with its activatable stealth shield and hone down subsystems. The risk that comes with that is its stupidly high skill ceiling to master it and the insanely low hull and overall health. It can be difficult to get used to the playstyle that 1 or 2 minor mistakes can lead to your death. It can also be very easy to slide into the mindset of, oh, well, I got a 3-to-1 kill ratio, it definitely wasn't my fault we lost. Sure, you outplayed the enemy team, but never focused on objectives because you were worried it might harm your KDA. This mindset will inevitably harm your team in the long run. When you're playing on your own, you need to keep an eye on your allies and what they are doing. If you see fighters or bombers going in for a push, assist them. Going as a group will always increase the effectiveness of whatever objective you're attempting to push. You can grab all this valuable data very easily by looking for white dots, which is ally positioning, and red dots, which is enemy positions. This gives you an instant idea of which frigate your allies are pushing for and where they need to be assisted. If you see those white dots flashing, it means your ally is taking direct hull damage, meaning that they may need your help. and whilst helping a teammate in danger isn't exactly objective control, it's still incredibly important. If they're in a relatively close range to you, it's your duty to help them, providing that they're not super far away and attacking the flagship. Securing kills is helpful, but the importance of it falls off when you're on the attack. When on defense, you earn double the amount of morale for a kill compared to being on the attack. AI kills earn you more, and 20 points can be earned when taking out the raider. Unless you're exploiting the AI farming, the game won't make you be on attack forever, so be sure to make your attack runs when you can before having to go back on the defense again. Eckhartsladder covered this in a previous video, but carrying loadouts that are specifically for taking down objectives faster should be used during attack phases. Iron and proton torpedoes, as mentioned in X video, is insane for taking down frigates and the flagship. If you're running an X-Wing, you can eliminate 100% of any frigate's shields in one go with one iron torpedo. An X-Wing can only hold one per resupply, but support can run free. For support, you're also able to use the marking auxiliary, which is a multi-lock missile of sorts that can track and mark enemy players, which prevents them from using countermeasures, take 30% more damage, and have the AI, frigates and flagships target them when it hits. So if you really feel like you need to be support but want a little bit of more control on how the game goes down, that might be a better pick for you. So loadouts like these beg the question that solo players should do one of two things. Practice literally non-stop on one build set with fighter or interceptor until you get so good at it that you can potentially carry games. Or 2, learn 2 imperative classes that can help you and your teammates land a victory. For me, it is fighter and support combo. There has been games where, after a few judgment calls, I felt my team were lacking in securing objectives, despite 1 or 2 players actually being very positive in kills. From here, I swap out from support into fighter to take on some of the objectives I feel are being neglected. When we're on the defensive, my support loadouts are focused on healing and shielding allies, and my fighter loadouts are focused on self-healing, concussion missiles, and firepower. When we're on attack, if I feel my teammates are doing a good job without an extra pair of hands, I play support with supply droid and iron torpedo to help take down shields on frigates, raiders, and the flagship. But if I feel like some objectives are being neglected, I'll go fighter and run iron and proton torpedoes so I can focus on taking down shields followed with subsystems. So, the verdict. When playing with a team of friends, it's very easy to stick to a single class of ship. Everyone has that role that they really enjoy playing and are pretty good at it, so you can stick to whatever is most comfortable to you. For me, that's playing support, because I know Eckhartsladder is going to get the damage done on flagships, and I know Captain Shack is going to get all the bombing runs on those frigates. And in those games with my friends, my support will always be more effective, as friends can call out to me for a heal and then ping. When playing alone, however, this isn't always the case. There will always be more times where it's up to you to cover for other players' mistakes. Much like going to heal allies when they've overextended, failed to ping their attacker, and are simply trying to fly away from you because their spatial awareness is awful. Not only that, you have to also judge the behavior of players too. Are they saving your ass after saving theirs? There have been plenty of times where I've rushed in to supply an ally in the time of need, and after doing so, the enemy swaps to me and attacks me, and the person I've healed doesn't turn around and capitalize on the 2v1 despite me pinging them to attack their attacker. Behavior like this should be imperative to make you decide what class is required the most from you to win. I'm not the best at getting close to capital ship damage, so I rarely push to be a fighter on attack when I know that my teammates will probably do a better job. Topics like these are usually very hard to convey information from because it's so subjective and is based on game-to-game situations. But I hope that this video will give you some good insight of what you should do when playing solo. But that does bring me to the end of the video. Do you enjoy playing alone or with friends? Let me know that and our question of the day, which is, do you play Squadrons on your own? And of course, if you decide that you want to get a HOTAS for Squadrons or get Squadrons for PS4, Xbox or PC, go to our Amazon links in the description or in the pinned comment down below. It doesn't add anything to your price, but seriously helps us out a lot. So go check that out when you can. But other than that, I've been Charlie, you've been watching EcksToo, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.